Hey guys, hello and welcome to another video of Power Automate today. So in today's video, we'll be seeing the message boxes in Power Automate. Right? Mainly, we'll be seeing how can we create custom forms or how can we display custom forms in Power Automate. So I'll be starting from very basic, which is a display message box, and I hope that you all have used this message box in sometimes in your flow, right? So these message boxes are basically used to display some data and are mostly used in the attended automation, right, to display some kind of message to the user who is running that flow, right? So quick display of this message box is basically it gives you a message kind of thing. So in title, you can say this is Power Automate flow, and you can say hello user, and then you can choose to select what kind of message box it would be, and you can choose what kind of buttons can be clicked. So here if you see, we have limited option, which is okay, cancel, yes no, cancel, all these kind of things are there. Okay, and then we have the defaults button. I'll choose second and I'll click save and run it. Right, so if you see here, we have this title here, and then we have this message here, and we have an information button because we have given chosen information. Now default, if you see, my cursor or my control is on the second button, so I'll just click enter, and whatever button is clicked, it will give me the input, or it will give me the button press in my output variable, right? So this is how we display message to the user, right? In similar way, we have a display input box where if we want to get some values from the user, right? So display message is basically used to display information to the user, and display input dialog is basically to get value from the user, right? So what I'll do is I'll show a quick demo for this also. So input dialog title is, I'll use enter your name. So 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 it could be a single line, multi-line, or it can be a password also, right? So I'll click save and I'll just run this, right? So I'll just click report and then see, enter your name please, and let's say that I type Power Automate and I'll click OK. So it gives me the output as Power Automate. So whatever value I type in the Power Automate, and if I give this into a password and I run it, so I'll type Power Automate again, but this time it will be a password, and here also it will give me a sensitive value because now it knows that the output of this would be password, right? So similarly, we have the date dialog select box where it will allow me to select the date, right? So I'll say that enter date, right? You can choose whether it's a single date or you want to choose two dates, right? And then you can give the prompt for date only and just click save. I'll just disable these two and run only the date dialog box, right? So now if you see, it is allowing me to select any of the date, and the date which I select will be given as the output, right? And if you say date time, it will allow me to select the date and time, right? If I give two ranges, then it will allow me to select two dates, right? So first is here and second will be, right? So this is how the date dialog works. Similarly, we have a list dialog where we can allow user to select from given list, right? For example, let's say that I have a list of fruits, right? Apple, grapes, orange, and I prompt user to select one of those fruits, right? So user can only select one, and that selected one will be the output of this list. Similarly, we have the file dialog where if I want user to select one of the file, for example, that I ask user to upload their resume, so I'll use this or upload the file from their local desktop, right, to upload into some system or some website. In that case, I use the select file, right? So folder, I can say that okay, if a user wants to upload a zip folder, right, then I can use this select folder, right? So if I go with the file and so here you can give initial folder, right? So choose this folder and right, so I choose this folder, and then you can also give the file filter here. For example, what kind of files you want user to select or to display. So I'll just run this one, right? See if my this the default folder is being selected, and if I select this and click open, it will just give me the it has given me the path of that or the properties of that particular file, right? So this is how our message boxes work. Now the final one is the display custom form. Let's say that I want to get multiple values from a user, right, and I want that in a single stage, right? So let's say that I want user to type their their employee ID, their name, their date of birth, their resume, right? Or their any kind of their file I want to get from the user in a single stage. So in that case, we basically use this display custom form. Now, how these display custom form works is you can actually design these forms, and you can actually apply some logic, or internally you can apply some regex patterns so that the value user enters will be validated at that time only, right? So let's see how this form structures works. The first one is the text input, right? So I'll just drag this text input here. Now it has many input parameters in the text input. If you see, it has the ID, it has the label, it has the default value, it has the multi-select, and then if you go down, it also has a validation column and the error message and the pattern, right? So it has multiple things. So all these things, what we are doing in the display message box or input dialog, all that things can be combined and can be used in this particular form design. Now, how this can be used? So I have taken just one text input right here, and I'll just take one button here, right? So I'll give this button, the ID of this is button, and I'll just click right, save, and I'll just run it. So why button is important? Because it tells Power Automate, it tells custom form that okay, some value has been provided. If I have not given this button, I will have to click this close button, and then only it will get closed. So I'll just type here hello Power Automate and click OK. The moment I click OK, it has given me in the value of custom object, or you can call it as a dictionary name value pair, right? Now if you see here, it has given me as text input. I can also change that, and how can I change that is from here. If I give here emp id, let's say that uh, from user I want to get the employee id, right? So in label I'll type enter your emp id, and default I can give any default value. Here you can see how your form is being working. So employee id, I can choose a multi-line. If I give any default value like hash and it will be given like this. And if I say this field is required, it will be a little star over here. And here if I type enter or employee ID must cannot be blank, choose done, save and run. Right, so enter your employee ID. If I click OK, since we already have a default value, so it has given me hash NA. And if I have removed that hash NA, it must have given me some error. Like if I remove this hash NA and if I click OK, it says that employee ID cannot be blank. Right, so I'll choose any number here. Right, so what it has done is it has captured the value provided by the user to this EMP ID. So let's say that I want to get the employee ID, right? And my employee ID must start with some digit number, and it must have exactly 10 digits, right? So here I can use regex pattern, and for that I have used GPT. If you don't know how regex works, you just have to type a prompt, simple prompt, write a regex for an employee ID that must start with 8042 and have exactly 10 numbers. So I'll copy this pattern, right, and I'll just give it here, and in the error message I'll type enter valid employee ID. Right, done, save and run. Right, so regex is the regex written here is that it must have exactly 10 digits. So here if I click OK, it will give me enter valid employee ID. Now if I type in any number and click OK, it is giving me enter valid EMP ID because it is not 10 digits. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Right, okay, these are 11. If I click OK, okay, I think why it is not working is because 8042, it was starting with 8042, right? So the moment I type 8042, it has taken that value, else it is giving me as entered a valid employee ID. So this is how you can use validations in your custom forms, right? Now you can also choose a style. For example, this is a text, and I have given some pattern. If you give a telephone number or TEL, it will not allow user to enter any text value. If you choose URL, it will have a pattern of a URL. If you choose email, it will allow user to enter only the email patterns, right? So this is how the text input works in the custom forms, right? Now we'll take a number, right? In the preview form, the moment I enter number, so the moment I remove it or the moment I enter, it will show me one more box. Now in the ID, I'll say TEL, and the label, I'll say enter your phone, right? I'll say it required, and I'll say must be a number, right? Now I can also choose a date input, right? And for this, I'll say joining date, right? And here I'll say enter your joining date, and I can also choose to give the default value as today's value also, right? So here I'll say required, and you can also choose to give the time in the, you can also give toggle input. For example, if I use this, so this will be a yes no kind of answer. So here you can actually ask user if they have worked in this organization before, yes or no. uh, right, so in the form you see here, yes. So if the value is on, it will give true, and if value is off, it will give false. Or you can choose yes, or here you can choose no, or you can choose no, right? You can choose it required or not, whatever you want. I'll just choose not required, because if user is not, has not selected this, that means no, right? And then we can also have a choice set input. For example, that I want to ask user about their skill set, right? So skills, here choose one of your skill, right? Here I can say or automate. You can actually give the same value here, right? In the new choice you can give for apps, you can give apps, and here you can give blue prism, here you can give pp, right? And I'll choose this as required, I'll choose this as wrap, and message is choose one skill, right? I'll click done, and let's just run this part. right? So employee ID must be starting with this, right? And it must have exactly 10 digits. Telephone number must have digits only if I enter number, and if I click OK, see, it is giving me must be number, right? Joining date you can give, although I think it is not mandatory one. Okay, this is mandatory, but we have not given any error message. That's why it is giving this red corner. So what I'll do is I'll just give today's date. We will also be giving the default value here, right? Have you worked with us before? I can choose anything. I'll choose this skill and I'll click OK. So the moment I click OK, you see here it has captured all the inputs, and since I have not chosen yes there, so it has given me no. And why it has given me no is because the toggle input, if none is selected, I have chosen no, right? So this is how this gives us the value. So in joining date I can actually choose a default value also. How can I do that is I'll just take a current date time, and in the custom forms, in the date, in the default, I'll just take the current date. Okay, so now these all are done, right? Let's say that, let us give one more button, cancel, cancel, right? And if you see in the preview form here, I have two buttons now, OK and cancel. And in the skill section, if you allow multiple selection, it will actually convert this into a multiple selection forms, right? So this is how your choice input works. Now let's say that I want user to choose one of the file, right? So what I'll do is I'll keep a file input here, right? And here I'll give that I want user to send their resume through this attended automation, right? So what I'll do is choose your resume, right? And this is required, resume is required. Now I also want to give a text that it must be a PDF. So what I'll do is I'll choose a text input or a text block. I'll change this ID to block, although this is not required because there is no output for this. So in the text I'll give the resume must be in PDF and not more than 15 MBs, right? I'll choose none, the default. You choose separator, there will be a separator between the above control and this one, right? You can choose the font type. I'll choose monospace, right? You can choose this size also, and you can choose the weight also, and you can choose the color also, whether it should be dark or it's information or it's a warning, whatever it is, right? Okay, I'll just click done, save and run it. Now I'll just give phone and see my default date is coming. I can choose multiple here. If I click OK, see it is giving me error here as resume is required, and since this is, if I click OK, this warning is gone, but it is saying resume is required. So what I'll do is I'll choose text file for now. I know it is giving me that it is required any and PDF only, right? But for now I'm giving as text and I click OK. The moment I click OK, it actually captures the path of my file what I have given, right? Okay, now the last thing left in this is, so the last thing left in here is the company URL. Let me just delete this date time and quickly I have added a URL here. I'll just add it again. So if you see the preview form here down below, here we have two buttons, and the moment I add this, although this can only be added below the text or near to buttons, right? So here you have added, and here I can give company URL, or you can give the instructions URL to fill out this form, right? For now, I'll just give a dummy URL. So I'll give chatgpt.com, right? Like this, I'll click on save and run it. So what this button will do is it will act as a navigate, you can say, or once you click that button, it will launch the browser. So if I click on this, so it actually launches the website which we have given in there, right? So this is how you can also embed a URL in this. Right now, one thing left in this is we can actually add an image inside our form, right? So in order to add an image, I'll just take a sample URL for the image. So what I'll do is I'll just copy this sample image URL, go to my form here, and I'll just give this URL here. So once you give this URL here and see your form will actually look like this, right? You can play with this image also. You can change the attributes and see how this image is going to change, right? So this is how you can give and check your image. I'll do it cover and center and click done, right? So my image is being added. Now your form looks more interactive to the user. So let us run this. So once the image is added, it takes some time to launch. It takes some time to load that image into your form. See, it took some time to launch it. See, we have here, so here you can give their phone number. Okay, click OK. Okay, resume is required. You can actually uh, also change the color. This is not very much visible here. You can actually change that color, and you can actually change the size of these boxes also. I'll click OK. So once I click OK, all of these attributes are captured. Right, so this is how you can play with display custom forms in Power Automate. I hope you like this video. If you like this video, hit like, share, and subscribe. Till then, bye. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. Happy automation.